Hey guys, so sorry about the last video. I accidentally turned my iPad off, so the video just shut off, and I refused to re-record what I've already done. So we're just going to pick up on objective 3. So I'm sorry about that, but objective 3 is to find the slope of horizontal and vertical lines. So if you were watching the last video, you saw a little bit of the positive and negative, but I'm just going to go back through it as if I haven't already. So your positive slope goes up in an upward direction. And so when I say up, I mean just as you read and write from the left to the right, you're moving this way. And so from left to right, you are going in an upward direction here. So the negative is the opposite, right? As you are reading and writing from left to right, now this line is going down. Okay, so you can always kind of tell just by looking at it, is it going up? It's positive. Is it going down? It's negative. Your zero slope means it's not going up or down. It's zero. It's neutral. So it's not going up. It's not going down. It's just a straight, flat, horizontal line. Your undefined slope, then, is up or down. This is your vertical lines. So I'm gonna tell you a little cheesy story that my 8th grade math teacher told me. She used the analogy of skiing, and honestly, just like her, I have never skied either. So if this is my mountain, okay, that I'm skiing on, since I have never skied before, going up this mountain is a positive thing. But again, because I have never skied, going down this mountain is a very negative thing. That is very, very bad. If I am on flat ground here, okay, think of your skis, right? If you're on flat ground, you are not going up, you're not going down. It's a zero slope. You're going zero places on these skis. And then if you are taking the little bunny lift thingy-majig, or I don't know what it's called, but you know the little thing that you set in to take you up to the top of the mountain, right? If you're taking that little thing that takes you up to the top of the mountain and you fall off and you die, that's undefined. Okay, so maybe that will kind of help you remember the difference, especially between this one and this one, on what is zero. Zero is your flat ground, and your undefined, that's when you crash and burn and die on that little bobber that takes you to the top of the mountain. Okay, so example 4, 5, and 6 all have to do with these horizontal and vertical lines. So this one and this one here. So on this first one, we're finding the slope of a line that passes through your given point. So because you have an ordered pair, you got to go back to what we did on the first example. We are using our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. So label your points. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So using your formula, slope is y2. My y2 is -1. Minus my y1, which is a -1, so minus that negative becomes a +1. Then it is x2 minus x1, so my x2 is -3, minus my x1, which is 2. So -1 plus 1 is 0. -3 minus 2 is -5. 0 divided by anything is 0. Okay, so that is this slope here. And if you were to plot these 2 points, right, 2, -1 is here, -3, -1 is here. You connect that line, that's your horizontal line right there. B, so spoiler alert, this is going to be your undefined example. You've got x1, y1, x2, y2. So your formula is y2 minus y1. So we've got 4 minus 0 over x2 minus x1. So 5 minus 5. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 5 is 0. Because you've got 0 in the bottom on this one, this is your undefined slope. And again, if you plot those points, you'll get that, right? 5, 0 is here. 5, 4 is here. So this is your vertical line. This is your undefined slope. On 5, find the slope of each line. Well, because it is a flat line here, the slope is just simply 0. There's not any work you need to do. Because B is a vertical line, there's no work you need to do. Vertical lines are undefined. Okay, and then 6, find the slope of each line. If you've got y is 7, let's use this graph right here and just kind of roughly plot it. If you've got y is 7, you're going up to 7, which is of course off this graph. So y right here is 7. And you've got that horizontal line right there. So this one is 0. So anytime you have y equals a number, you have no x, then it is 0. So then likewise, on this one, you can solve this for x if you want to. Subtract your 10 over. We get x equals, and I put y. We get x equals -4. So if I roughly sketch it here, we're going to y is 4. This is my vertical line. Because it is vertical, this means my slope is undefined. So up here, anytime you have x equals a number, this is your undefined slope. This one here has no y. So you've got 3 examples of when your slope is 0 from an ordered pair, a graph, and an equation. And you've got 3 examples of what it looks like when you have an undefined slope from 2 ordered pairs, a graph, and an equation. Last portion of this lesson, we need to interpret slopes as rate of change. So it says slope can be reinterpreted as a rate of change. And in fact, when I was going to school, this is only the way we described slope, was the rate of change, never the steepness of a tilt. So in other words, slope tells us not how fast, but how fast y is changing with respect to x. So for example, the pitch of a roof is a slope. Find the pitch of each roof shown. So this is kind of equivalent to a graph. My slope for a graph is rise over run. So in here, which one represents rise, the 6 or the 10? That's going to be 6. So my rise is 6 over what's my run? My run is 10. Always, always, always reduce if you can. We can reduce. So we can divide this by 2 and this by 2 to get 3 over 5. Okay, and because it's this portion here, that's positive. Now your slope here, same thing. Rise over run. which one represents my rise? It's going to be the 5. Which one represents my run? That's a 10. Divide these both by 5. And my slope here is 1/2. On example 8, for the following problems, find the slope of each line and write the slope as a rate of change. Don't forget to attach the proper units. So A says the graph approximates the number of households that each television Y in millions for X years. So first find the slope. My slope formula, because now I have an ordered pair, can't really count on this graph since it's jumping numbers here. So my slope formula, I'm trying to find a good spot to write my slope formula. We'll just do it right here on top of the graph. Is your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So label your ordered pairs. You got x1, y1, x2, y2. And again, you can switch your 1s and 2s. Just make sure your 1s and 2s are together. So my slope is y2 minus y1. So 115 minus 110. Over x2 minus x1, which is 2010 and 2005. So reduce. 115 minus 110 is 5. 110 minus 2010 minus 2005 is 5. So my slope is 1, or 1 over 1 for, rise and run graphing purposes. Okay, so that's me finding the slope. Okay, write the slope as a rate of change. We did that. Now we need to attach the proper units to these. So, give me 1 second, please. Okay, so because this is y on top, and x on bottom, when we put these proper units with it, my y represented millions. So this means we have 1 million TVs over my x represented number of years. So 1 year. Okay, this is my final answer with my appropriate units. Okay, same thing for B. Use your formula. Oh, and dang it, that really bugs me that I did not uncircle this. And I can't now, so sorry. Okay. I'm just going to rewrite the formula because, God, that makes my OCD go crazy. Okay, label your ordered pairs. So we did 1s down here and 2s down here. Let's just get crazy with it again and switch it up. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So find your slope. We got y2 minus y1. So 550 minus 850. Over x2 minus x1. So 2003 minus 2009. So 550 minus 850 is going to give me a negative 300. 203 minus 209 is going to give me a negative 6. Reduce that. Negative over negative is positive, which should make sense since that's a positive slope here. And 300 divided by 6 is 50. Okay, and again, let's just make that into a fraction. So let's make that 50 over 1. Okay. I realize now that I haven't even read this problem. So B says the graph approximates the number of money Y in billions of dollars spent worldwide on tourism for X year. So same as before, my Y is on top and my X is on bottom. So my Y represented money, so we have 50 billion dollars. Okay, if you have room, you can put on tourism. Over Y represented years, so 1 year. So the slope is representing that they spend $50 billion for every 1 year on tourism. So this is my true final answer. All right, that's all I have for this lesson. Pause and rewind this video as you need to. Sorry that this video accidentally got split into 2 lessons as well.